Let's jump right into today's topic. What if I told you that the IPL, the biggest T20 league on the planet, isn't really an 11-player game anymore? Seriously, for the last couple of seasons, there's been this quiet revolution happening, one that has absolutely shattered the record books and flipped T20 completely on its head. We are talking about the impact player era, and it's got everyone, and I mean everyone, asking the same question. Is this rule a stroke of genius, or is it breaking the very fabric of the game? Just look at this number, 130. So what is that? That's the number of times an IPL team has scored over 200 runs in just the last 3 seasons. Now, to really let that sink in the entire 15 years of the IPL before this, from 2008 to 2022, teams only crossed 200 a total of 133 times. It is insane. We've basically seen a decade and a half worth of record breaking scores crammed into just 3 years. That kind of scoring explosion it's just not normal. It's so dramatic. It's out of nowhere, you ought to ask, right? What another change? What's the one thing that could so completely rewrite the DNA of the biggest T20 league in the world? Well, the answer, believe it or not, comes down to one single rule. So, in this first part, we're going to break down exactly what it is and how it works. Welcome to the 12-player revolution. Okay, so what is an impact player? Put simply, it's a tactical substitution. It's like a super sub. A team can literally swap out one player from their starting 11 with someone from the bench, and that new person comes in and can bat, bowl, or do everything just like a regular player. It basically turns cricket into a 12-a-side game, giving every captain an extra weapon in their arsenal. So how does this whole thing work in a match? It's pretty straightforward, actually. First, at the toss, both captains name their usual 11 players, but they also list 5 potential substitutes. Then, at any break in play, end of an over, a wicket falls, whatever, the captain can decide to bring in one of the 5 subs. But, and this is the key part, the player who gets replaced, they're done for the day. They cannot come back into the match at all. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. There are a few key details that make this rule so powerful. For one, the new player, the impact player, can bowl their full 4 overs. It doesn't matter if the guy they replaced already bowled 2 or 3. It's a fresh quota. Also, there's a catch for overseas players. You can only sub in a foreign player if you started the game with just 3 of them in your lineup. And maybe the biggest point of all, love it or hate it, the rule is here to stay. The BCCI has already confirmed it's locked in until at least 2027. So now we know what the rule is. Let's talk about what it has done. And this is where things get wild. We are diving into the statistical explosion, or as few players and people have started calling it, the run apocalypse. This table right here just says it all. You look at the pre-impact era, and the average run rate was, pretty healthy, 8.5. But since 2023, it's shot up to over 9, sometimes even hitting 9.6. That is a gigantic leap in T20 cricket. And those 200 plus scores, we have talked about it. But seeing it here side by side, 133 in 15 years versus 130 in just 3, the game has just become an absolute run fest. And hey, if that table wasn't enough to convince you, just look at this bar chart. It is just ridiculous. In 2022, right before the rule came in, we had what was then a record 18 scores over 200 in a season. By 2025, the number exploded to 52. 52. It's almost triple. The idea of what a high score is in a T20 game has been completely, and I mean completely shattered. So the big question is why? Why is this happening? Well, a lot of it comes down to psychology. And who better to explain it than Virat Kohli himself? He basically said, look, the reason I'm playing with a 200 plus strike rate is because I know there's an extra batter. I know there's a guy waiting to come in at number 8. It is a safety net. The batters can just go all out, attack from ball 1 because they know there's another specialist batter ready and waiting on the bench if they get out. But all this freedom for a batsman, all these incredible score, well, it has come at a price. And this is where we get to the most heated part of the whole debate. It looks like the impact player rule has had a massive and maybe unintended consequence. Are we witnessing the death of the all-rounder? The ex-India captain himself, Rohit Sharma, has been one of the loudest voices against this rule. He's not mincing his word. He says he's not a fan because it's going to hold all-rounders back. Why? Because now you can just sub in a specialist batter or a specialist bowler. You don't need a guy who can do both. And his final point is powerful. At the end of the day, cricket is an 11-player game, not 12. It's not just an ex-captain and legend saying this. The players who have built their entire careers on being versatile, they feel it too. Take Akshar Patel, an all-rounder in Capital Delhi Capitals. He puts it pretty bluntly. I don't like this rule, he says, because I'm an all-rounder. It used to be that you got picked up for both your skill. Now teams just want a specialist for each job. You know what? This isn't just a theory. We have started seeing it happen right in front of our eyes. Got guys like Shivam Dubey and Washington Sundar, players who got picked for the Indian national team because of their all-round ability. But in the IPL, they hardly ever getting a chance to get to bowl. They are just being used in these specialist impact batters to come in and smash a few sixes. And it's a huge worry because the development as bowlers is basically hitting a wall. So all of this brings us to the final and most important part of this whole thing, the great debate. What this rule has really done is create this massive clash between two totally different ideas about what cricket should be. Is it all about entertainment or is it about protecting the balance of the game? It really is two sides of the same coin. On one hand, you've got the players, they're worried, skilling the all-rounder and destroying the balance between bat and ball completely out of whack and just making it a batter's game. But then on the other hand, you have the league officials and a lot of coaches. They see it as this cool new tactical layer to the game. It makes things more exciting for the fans, and hey, it gives more Indian players a shot on the big stage. But for now, at least the debate is over. The BCCI has put its foot down and made it very clear the impact player rule is staying put until the 2027 season, and you can see why the teams have already spent millions building their entire squads around this 12-player strategy, trying to undo all of that. That's not going to happen. Really, this brings us to the core question that's facing not just the IPL but cricket all over the world. The sixes are flying further, the records are being broken every other day, and you cannot deny it. The fans are being entertained, but it leaves us all with one massive question to think about. Is all that entertainment worth fundamentally changing the balance of the game we all love?
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.